Being a Longhorn is opportunity, pride, achievement, community, safety. Being a Longhorn is a choice to become a hero, to lead, to thrive in any setting. Being a Longhorn means immersing yourself in fine arts, learning at your own pace in Montessori, starting your path to college in elementary, earning a college degree in high school. The pride of being a Longhorn lives on long after graduation. Educate, empower, inspire.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Alicia Davis, Director of Family and Community Engagement for Cedar Hill ISD. Thank you so very much for joining us for our discussions with Dr. Hudson virtual town hall meeting, where we are going to provide you with several different pieces of information. As you can see on the screen, we have a wonderful panel of presenters tonight. We have our Superintendent, Dr. Gerald Hudson. We have Mr. Tellance Graham. He is our Assistant Superintendent of Student Services and Administration. We have Ms. Halima Jackson. She is our Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. And we also have Lieutenant Carlos Bilo. He is our CHISD Police Lieutenant. And so here's the agenda for tonight. We're going to go over a lot of different district information. We're also going to touch on some upcoming events, and we're going to look ahead to the 2022-2023 school year. Then we're going to have an opportunity for you all to ask questions to our panel and presenters this evening. So as far as upcoming events, what is coming up? Next week on Tuesday, we have a Trustee Connection session, which is going to be in person at Highlands at 6 o'clock p.m. We are going to also have another discussions with Dr. Hudson at Bray in person at 6 o'clock p.m. on the 9th of August. On the 10th of August, we have our middle school and high school Meet the Teachers. They're going to be at from 5 to 6:30 for middle school and 6 to 7:30 for our high schools. We have our elementary Meet the Teacher events, and those are going to be at 5:30 on August the 11th. And on Saturday, August the 13th, we have our back to school rally. Get all the information at chisd.net/rally, and that will be at Valley Ridge Park from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And oh my goodness, it's almost that time. Monday, August the 15th is the first day of school. I know you guys are so excited. I know you're excited. I'm excited. Aren't you excited? It's that time. All right. So just keep note of those days, and we are going to pass it on to our superintendent, Dr. Hudson.
I know kids are going to be excited like I am. Back in the day, I used to lay out my clothes the day before school. So I'm looking forward to laying out my outfit and what I'm going to wear. So as we look forward to next school year, there are four major areas of focus. Each have an effect on the success of CHISD, its scholars, and our staff. Tonight, we're going to take a few minutes to focus on each area before we take your questions. The first one, of course, we're going to talk about is the potential bond election or potential election. Some of you may not be aware that CHISD has not passed a bond election more than 10 years. This has left our facility in need of essential upgrades to ensure our schools and teachers, our scholars, teachers have a comfortable learning environment and that supports scholar achievement. There is something to be said about, we have preventative maintenance and you have deferred maintenance, and you can defer things so long until eventually you're past the life cycle. Also, CHISD has yet to pass a tax ratification election known as a TRE or a VATRE or VATER, voter approved tax ratification election. As is known, it will be bring more dollars to our district to help teacher salaries, staff recruitment, and retention. I do believe we need to go to the next slide. So with these in mind, the Board of Trustees are considering these things. Of course, our job as employees in the district and superintendents to present all the factual information to the board of trustees. We'll talk about some of the committees that were put in place that make recommendations to the board, but ultimately the board makes a decision on whether we move forward with a bond or a Vader. With these needs in mind, the board or trustees are considering a bond and or TRA election in November. So what's the difference between two? Because a lot of people ask what is different. We look at bonds. Bonds are something that take care of buildings. You see a bond election will be add funds that will be used specifically for construction and capital improvement plans or projects. When you talk about the HVAC being out, or there's needs to have surfacing redone, or there needs to be a bus barn, all these different things are part of a bond package. And that is strictly for capital improvements or construction. Now, on the flip side, the Vader is a tax ratification election, and money from the Vader will be used for teacher salaries. It says could be, but it would be used in our district for teacher salaries, raises, supplies, and academic programs. So when we say academic programs, if there's a need for more STEM programs, a fine arts academy, all these different things, you have to have furniture, equipment, and all those things be utilized. We'll have more money because there's two ways to increase revenue in the school district. That's either through a Vader or have an increase in student enrollment. And we would like to have both. And so as you can see, Mansfield, Grand Prairie, Duncanville, and other districts around us have passed TREs, resulting in higher salaries and luring some of our teachers away and updating our facilities and increasing what we can give to our teachers and what we can do for our students in this district it should entice more families to want to be a part of this great school district. We have a great school district, where it's not a secret. One of the things that we want to continue to do those things to build on it, so more people want to be a part of the Longhorn Nation. So we also had the Longhorn. When we talk about some of the components who made commitments to understanding the needs of the district, that was part of our Longhorn Future Committees. We have over 70 individuals from a long list of people. We had to make sure we had the right group of mixture of people inside this committee to look at, get reports and everything else to help address some of the needs of CHISD. So these were representative of our stakeholders. They met in March to June to review facility assessment, budget, and district needs. They also had opportunity to review, walk through the buildings, hear from outside vendors to talk about the needs of the districts. Then, of course, they made a recommendation to the board to call for a November bond to address facility needs. So this is our community people looking at everything and making a recommendation to our board. So in early on, I want to say May, they made a recommendation to the board. Now, if you want to find more information about the Longhorn Future Committees and what they were working on, or if you want to look to see any of the notes from it, you can always go to chisd.net/LFC, and you will be able to find all the information you would like to know about the progress that the Longhorn Future Committee made towards their recommendation. So any presentations and notes, anything else, you can find it there. Once again, chisd.net/LFC. We also want our community to be informed. So we also, besides having the finance facilities committee, which is now taking the information from the LFC, we also have a finance committee. And the finance committee is really a subcommittee of the board, and they focus on the CHISD finance. They look at the audit, they look at the budgets. They do a lot of the work so that we can move smoother through the process with the board in total. So they are weighing the pros and cons of a Vader. They're looking at how it could benefit the school district, how it can benefit short-term, long-term, how it affect us if we would have passed in 2017. So all these things they have to take in consideration. Now, if the board wants to move that direction, they have to call for an election for a bond or TRE, or bond and TRE, by August 22nd. So next, to talk about the recruiting and staffing for CHISD, we have Ms. Halima Jackson.
Good evening, everyone. We recently hired Ms. Katrina Lemons as the principal of Permenter Middle School. She's doing an awesome job. And we are in the selection process for the principal of Lake Ridge Elementary School. We plan to name someone, or Dr. Hudson plans to name someone pretty soon. So Cedar Hill ISD is focused on recruiting and retaining highly qualified staff. And as you know, as Dr. Hudson said, we're a great district, and we want to make sure that we lure people to our district to teach our scholars, help them to achieve their goals. So one of the routes that we use to hire staff is through an alternative certification program. And that is, those are people who have gotten a bachelor's degree and have gone through what we call an ACP program to get their coursework and to learn pedagogy and content to become teachers. And of course, we hire teachers through the traditional route, which is where they went to college to get an educational degree and certification. We have what's called a Grow Your Own program. We partner with the Flipping Group, Teachworthy, ACP, and IWU to honor our paraprofessionals who are already working with our scholars every day, who want to further their education and become teachers. This semester, we will have 8 of those staff members who are working toward their certification, who are highly qualified and in our classrooms. And that's the way we can keep our staff and honor them and ensure that we continue to give the best to our scholars. And we also have long-term substitutes. These are people who have their bachelor's degree and they are working toward their certification. So they are in our classrooms receiving the professional development to help them to be successful. And also they are going to remain in our district just because of how we support them and because we have a caring community to grow strong teachers. So we are really focusing on alternative ways to get highly qualified staff. And again, for alternative certification programs, those are candidates who have what's called a statement of eligibility, and it means that they have completed all alternative certification requirements and have passed their exams and or failed an exam. However, we give them support to make sure that they can pass their exams. We currently have 52 staff members who are alternatively certified or in this process this school year. The Grow Your Own program, as I said before, through our partnership, we're helping our paraprofessionals who are already on our campuses achieve their certification, and so they can remain in our district as teachers. We have placed 8, as I said before, and we have 3 who are currently working toward their certification, who will be teachers in our classrooms in the 23-24 school year. And finally, as I said before, our substitutes, our long-term subs, are those staff members who have a bachelor's degree but are working toward their certification. Some of them have an AA degree, but we are also making sure that they participate in our professional development opportunities so they can be strong teacher candidates in the future. So for our District of Innovation Amendment, we are looking to try to make sure that we can hold on to those teachers who are in a clinical teaching program, which is their either studying to get their certification, and also those teachers who are coming to us from the business community. For instance, teachers in business or CTE, our programs we offer what's called a DOI certification. Those are teachers who have real life experience in certain areas who can be hired to teach our students. And then we have general state certification waivers. And again, we're looking at those people who have experience in an industry who are educated and qualified to teach our students. So we're looking for several ways to hire qualified staff to teach our scholars.
All right. Greetings to our Longhorn families. I'm definitely excited about the start of the 22-23 school year. I'm looking forward to some great things that are happening. right now you should be receiving your registration information through your email or through text, to let you know that we want you to enroll as soon as possible. Registration has been open since May for our returning students, and it is open for our new students at this time. If you're having any issue with registration, of course, you can go to that website that's on the screen right now at www.chisd.net, register. And of course, if you have any issue, you can email us at registration help, or you can visit our new Lacey Enrollment Center at 504 East Beltline, and they will give you any assistance that you need. If it's with transfers, it's with any type of paperwork that you have, or just to talk about the school and the school district, and they'll let you know about the principals, anything that you need to know about the campuses, they can let you know there. We pride ourselves on great customer service at the Enrollment Center. So again, if you need any information about Cedar Hill, you can get it there. You can also go to our website and look at the different campuses on their particular website. Find out about the dress code or the supply list. All of those items are located on our website if you go there. So looking forward to you enrolling as soon as possible so we can get this school year started off in a great way. Next, as you know, the Cedar Hill adopted a new start and end times for our schools. Elementary schools now start at 8:05 a.m. and end at 3:35 p.m. Middle schools start at 8:45 and end at 4:15, and our high schools start at 7:25 and end at 2:55 p.m. If you need some before school care for your elementary students, we do have a nationally renowned after school and before school program called Right at School. Students can start there at 6:30 a.m. and that lasts until 8:05 when elementary schools start. You can go to the website. We do have that on our district website. You can call the Enrollment Center to get information about that, or you can call the campus. They all have information about Right at School if you would like to sign up for that service. Next, we do understand that COVID-19 is here to stay. And in Cedar Hill, we want to protect our students, our staff, our visitors as much as possible. We have again created our Blueprint 3.0. Again, this is the third edition of the Blueprint. And we know that each year we start to embed those expectations of how we treat students and staff with COVID-19 into that blueprint. As you can see, you will continue to get the daily COVID classroom notifications if we have any positive students on the campus. And that's not just for COVID-19. We do have other viruses and diseases and other issues that you may receive that classroom notification for if it calls for that. So this is just not for COVID-19 anymore. We do know that we have a new monkeypox virus that's out now. So we are protecting our students against that as well. We will continue to ask that you wear the mask. They are encouraged, but they're not required in Cedar Hill ISD. Any student that contracts COVID-19 is required to take a 5-day quarantine. And you can see all of that information in our Blueprint 3.0. So if you have any questions or comments or just overall any information that you like to share, you can contact the school district about that, and we will give you as much information about our response to COVID-19 and other viruses in the district. We also understand that we support the whole child, and we know that mental health has been a great topic in our district and in our nation. Therefore, we have created a plan to ensure that our students are supported in any issue that they may have. We start off with our different tiers. In tier 1, our campus counselors are trained to identify certain issues and certain things that our students are going through and try to help them through them as much as possible. If our campus counselors are not able to help them, we have district personnel, our district behavior specialists that come in and they can support families and students in getting through any type of mental, physical, social, emotional problem that they may have. Next, our behavior specialists and our campus counselors also have access to outside care services. Again, we may not have an LSSP available for our particular students on the campus, but these outside care services do have that available for our students and also for our staff, because we understand we can't pour into someone from an empty cup. So we take care of our staff with Care Solace. That's a new company that's going to be providing services for us. Hamilton Counseling, Restorative Grace. And we also have services through our business office that our staff is able to use, that comes with their services. So again, we want all of our staff members to know that that's available for them, and we want our students and parents to know that we have services available for them. We have to let the district know that what's going on, but we're also going to identify certain signs and symptoms that our students may have to ensure that we can get them to the right person. We are in keeping up with safety and security. This year, Cedar Hill is expecting for all students to wear IDs and ID badges daily. All students are required to wear them, elementary all the way up to our high school students. A temporary ID will cost $1, and of course, the replacement ID for a new ID will be $5. The first ID will be free, but this is about safety and security. This is about being able to identify our students, and we'll use them for several other things on our campuses. Many of our students are used to wearing them, so it's not a big issue, but I know our elementary students are probably not used to them, so it will be something new for them.
Good evening. I am Lieutenant Bilo with Cedar Hill ISD Police Department. I'll start the safety and security side of this. The Cedar Hill ISD Police Department is comprised of 48 staff who serve in the following capacities: police chief, there's one police lieutenant, there's one emergency operations coordinator, there are 5 police officers, 1 detective, 1 dispatcher, 1 security lieutenant, there are 14 security officers, and 23 crossing guards. Next slide. We use the standard response protocol, which is the recommendation for the Texas School Safety Center. It is the I Love You Guys Foundation. These are the protocols that are utilized when we have an incident at the school, and they are hold, secure, lockdown, evacuate, and shelter. Part of the protocols that we utilize, we also have required drills. Our drills are actually more stringent than what the state has placed out. We actually have an evacuation, 1 per month. There's also a secure lockout, which is 1 each semester. There's a shelter weather drill that is also 1 each semester. Shelter hazmat, 1 each semester. There's a lockdown, 2 per semester, and a hold drill is 1 per semester. Safety and secure measures that we have in place now at all of our schools, we have control vestibules, along with locked exterior doors. We have access control systems, which allow access for employees who have car key access. We also have updated and enhanced our lighting. We have exterior LED lighting at all of our schools. We also have interior and exterior security cameras that are utilized for surveillance and safety. We also conduct random searches utilizing a wanding in conjunction. These are conducted at our secondary campuses, and they are utilized in conjunction with our InterQuest K9 detection dogs. Is a contracted company that is utilized. We also have anonymous alerts. Anonymous alerts is one of our apps that can be placed on phones, your computer. It's also on the websites of our Cedar Hill ISD. Along with this, we have where, excuse me, where students, staff, or parents can utilize this to make complaints regarding bullying, any type of act of violence that may occur or that has occurred, and the person is not identified. So who has made the complaint? Those complaints go directly to the police department, along with a principal, or sometimes it may go to a counselor if it's regarding any type of self-harm or anything that could be related to a mental health crisis. Our current TA safety and security mandates that came in as of June of this year, we've already started our partial safety audit. Our exterior door safety audit is near completion and will be completed on tomorrow. Those are some of the things that were put out by Governor Abbott and TEA. Along with, we have reconvened with our Safety and Security Committee to review our emergency operations policy, our multi-hazard emergency operations policy, along with safety protocols that we have in place. All of our staff, currently principals, along with teachers, will receive mandatory training in all of our drills and the multi-hazard emergency operations plan. We also have threat assessment, and we will continue to review all of our policies and procedures throughout this year.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for all of this very, very much needed information. Now is the time that we are going to take some questions from our Facebook and YouTube audience. Now, I will say this. There have been a large amount of questions already asked, but I'm going to have to start from here. So if you have questions that you want this panel to perhaps address, we can go ahead and start that process now. And I will also, if you do not get your questions answered tonight, you can always send your question to FACE, that's FACE, at CHISD.net, and I will make sure that I get it to the proper person. All right. So starting now, I'm going to look at the questions. Let's see. Okay. This question says, I see DISD will require clear backpacks. Will this apply to Cedar Hill ISD? Mr. Graham, or I will say this. I know, I believe we are going to allow traditional backpacks, right, Lieutenant Bilo and Mr. Graham?
That's correct.
Right.
But you can, of course, wear a clear backpack, and actually some of the backpacks that are going to be distributed at the back to school rally will be a clear backpack. So I think that's a choice that you can make as a parent or guardian. Oh my goodness, there's so many questions. Okay, let's see. Again, if you want to ask a question and you're limited in characters, you can email face@chisd.net. Let's see. What does this say? They want to know what is the dress code like at Cedar Hill High School?
The dress code did not change from the previous year. All students are required to follow that particular dress code, which means that there are no uniforms at the high school, but there are uniforms for all of the remaining campuses in Cedar Hill. If you go to the district website and look at the dress code, you can look at all the specific requirements for the dress code.
Thank you. This question is, do pre-K scholars get Chromebooks for study at home as well? Pre-K scholars. I'm going to say I believe so, because we are a one-to-one district.
Yeah, I believe so. I think that's still up for discussion with the number of devices we have. We want to make sure. I think there was discussion about keeping it at school and having a
Oh, at
classroom
home.
set. But
Gotcha.
I think that will communication probably will come out about that later, because making sure that it is something they need at home. So I think there's still discussion about whether the kids will take it home, especially pre-K. I know the other grades they will. So, but I think that's still a discussion point that our technology department is having with our campus leaders and our directors.
This question states, why did the school hours change?
So I think I addressed that. It goes back to just the efficiency with our buses. This is the first year that we've actually had our own in-house transportation, and one of the things about how we've been efficient and the amount of time that our buses are out, the idle time, and just the efficiency. And it was more efficient for our school districts to be on the three-tiered system, and that's why we actually changed the time. So we went through the process of studying to see how we could be efficient, which I do believe we were able to eliminate 11. I'm not sure on the number of routes we were able to eliminate, and each route is roughly about $65,000. And it was just ways to make sure we're doing everything efficiently and making sure that we get our students and our bus drivers utilize their time wisely.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Graham is gone, and that question was going to be for him. So let's see. This question says, why will there not be any metal detectors?
So I think, as Lieutenant Belos talked about, we do have metal detectors. We do sometimes at special events. Also, we use random searches, random metal, so we may bring out secondary hallways and do it, which is a little bit more efficient and effective in that process than actually having metal detectors at the door and try to get everyone to come in at a certain time, because we already have a hard enough time getting everyone to get to school on time. That slows down the process. So we do that with InterQuest, which is our drug dog company, and they parking lots and everything else. So we have random searches scheduled throughout the school year at the secondary levels, just so we can make sure that we're keeping an eye on safety and security at our schools.
Thank you. This statement says, I want the issue of guns and weapons on campuses addressed. What are we doing about it?
So anytime there's any kind of weapon, a gun, we actually do notify the parents, the staff. We want to make sure everyone is fully aware of it. We had one gun situation on campus October 5th, I do believe. We notified everyone of that situation. Now, there's a lot of rumors, and our police department security, they do an excellent job of tracking down all rumors, or anytime we get the anonymous alert, we try to track those down and investigate those. Sometimes there's nothing. If there's anything of a gun or any situation found on campus, rest assured, I will be notified. The board of trustees will be notified. The staff, the parents, all will be notified. We started that process a long time ago, and I'm not deterred from that. I believe in letting people know. Now, if there's information that we are not aware of, it's because that's not getting to the proper channels. But anytime that we get any kind of rumors or um, suspicion of things, our police department investigate it. And then if there's something to it and there's issues, we do alert everyone, let everyone know. We send out notifications to staff, not just at that campus, but we let central office know about it. So we have a very extensive communication plan for any kind of incident.
Thank you, Dr. Hudson. What will be done about the fights and chaos that hindered learning most of last year at the high school?
So I would say that last year was a very interesting year because, coming back from a lot of our kids didn't spend any time. You talk about kids who first time being on campus in 2 to 3 years, or you bring in all the freshmen over and all this. So new principal, new staff members, there was no orientation. So there's a lot of commend Ms. Whitaker. There's a lot of stuff's been put in place. They had that freshman I guess say new student orientation that went very well last week, but really setting the parameters and making sure that everything is just making sure the kids understand what they have to do, which is following the dress code, make sure they're in class. So I believe the fights and chaos will uh, sub- subside because of procedures and systems that are being put in place by the administration to address those concerns, because it's not just your concern as a parent or a citizen, it's also my concern as a superintendent, because we all believe kids do not feel safe, they cannot learn. And we want to make sure our kids are doing their absolute best by learning, and make sure our teachers have what they need so they can be successful and provide these great opportunities for our students.
Thank you. When is the back to school rally? That is Saturday, August the 13th.
And if you had a chance to go last year, it was a great event. We're looking forward to something similar. And like I said, if there's areas that you didn't see last year that you would like to see, if you let FACE know, we'll try to make sure that happens, because this back to school rally is also about reconnecting our families and our school district and the resources we have for you.
Will parents be able to bring their children lunch?
That's always a
If we're an
discussion.
open district?
Yeah, we're open district, but a lot of it came down to COVID and allowing people to be on campus. I think we're going to still follow the Dallas County codes. Is that correct, Mr. Graham?
That's correct.
And
So
so I don't think it should be an issue. I think it's never been an issue. Can a parent bring lunch to their child? I think the issue, can the parent come into the school and eat lunch
yeah,
with the child? So the answer to your question, Ms. Scott, is yes, you can bring lunch to your child, but the question will be based upon the threat level with COVID and everything else, on whether we will allow parents to be in the school to possibly eat lunch with the child. And we will try to make sure we address that in 3.0 to be very clear on that.
Do high school students have to get a school issued Chromebook, or can they use their personal one? I believe they are to use the district issue one.
We recommend that they use the district one, because we don't necessarily know what's on someone's personal computer, although you will have to deal with the firewall situation and everything else, but also when it comes to programming. And we know that the programs that we have on our computers are compatible with what we have in the district. So sometimes it's with compatibility. Also, now that we're moving to online testing, sometimes that becomes an issue when someone has their own device. So it may be up to, but from my understanding, we're recommending that our students use our devices. Even though if a child uses their own device, it is still subject to the district AUP acceptable use policy.
Thank you, Dr. Hudson. I know the school will be locked down. If there is a shooter at the school, how will the police be able to get into the building to stop the shooter?
Well, that is a great question. And so anytime there's a lockdown, that means that there's immediate threat inside the building. And we have drills that we go through to make sure our kids and our teachers understand what they are supposed to do. Our police department have the capability of getting inside the building. There are multiple, the Cedar Hill Police Department or the Cedar Hill ISD Police Department. So there are multiple ways, because then it becomes a command center to make sure that things are identified. So the police will have access to be able to get into the building. And our response time, because we have our own police department, sometimes you've probably seen some school district, depending on where they're located, the response time is one of the biggest factors. What is the response time to be able to get to those particular campuses? One of the things, because we have our own police department and because Cedar Hill Police is this close to us, we have great response time if there is such a incident to occur at one of our schools.
Thank you. Is there a protocol for possible monkeypox outbreaks? And will COVID testing still be available during the school year?
Yes, we will still continue to provide testing with outside contractors. I think our nurse, lead nurse, have actually got those same things. So we're going to continue to do that, provide that to our community. So those times will still be posted. So right now, monkeypox is still one of those things that's still getting more information about. But yes, there will be protocols with that. We tend to wait until the CDC, the county give us guidance on those things, because of course we want to make sure we're consistent with what everyone else doing in Dallas County.
Thank you. Are students required to wear masks?
This is still one of those recommended. We recommend kids to wear masks, but we cannot force anyone to do that. So we highly recommend, and that's the same thing. We just want you. We always say protect yourself and others. So we always say if your comfort level is wearing a mask, wear a mask. If it's not, but you have to make sure you're being safe with what you're doing. So we can't require. It depends on if situation get as dire as last year. That may be something we may have a discussion about. But at this particular moment, we are still strongly recommending that kids wear masks.
Thank you. How many officers are assigned to each school, and are they armed?
All police officers are armed, and we have 2 police officers that are assigned to the high school, and we have 1 police officer at each of our middle schools, along with 1 being at collegiate high school. Those individuals also at the middle schools perform a patrol, and they are assigned to our elementary campus, which are the feeder zones for our middle schools. Along with that, we also utilize security officers who have the same capabilities. Other than having a firearm, they do have OC spray and handcuffs, along with a portable radio, so that they can make direct contact with police dispatch or police officers.
And all our officers do wear body cams, so all that information is reviewed. So then, not besides just them being armed, but they also, just like most police departments now, do wear body cameras.
Can anyone answer this question? Are the bathrooms going to remain locked at the high school?
I think that's typically with the campus. You have so much time during the passing periods, but again, classroom time is about learning. And so that is the campus. It depends on how they put things in structure in place. So as long as it's not being abused, then they probably will be open. But it's one of those things, be able to monitor all areas of the school. And because we expect our students to be good citizens and be good steward of their time. So then it is one of those things that the campus can lock down the bathrooms when they feel the deem is necessary. So hopefully we won't have to have that, because the kids are doing what they're supposed to be doing during the school hours.
Thank you. Will students attending CBC have to go in at the new posted times as well?
I think that's going to be one of those things you have to talk to the campus. I don't want to speak for collegiate or the kids who are in the ECA program. I think those rules have been outlined, unless Mr. Graham, something specific about that.
Okay. There was another question about their dress code. They don't have a they don't have a dress code, I don't believe, right? High school students don't have
they don't have standardized dress, but they do have a dress code.
I meant they don't have to wear a uniform.
They don't have to wear uniforms. Yeah, there's not a standardized dress, not a uniform. Uniform is totally different. Standardized dress. They're not required to wear standardized dress.
Mr. Graham, can you mute your mic? What will be the consequence for high school students that are on campus without a badge?
Well, I think that's going to be still a campus level decision. That could be up to, like I said, temporary. But then again, once you get to a certain level Like I said, it should be outlined in their code of conduct, the handbook on how they address that. So I can't necessarily speak for that because again, the first time could be just get a temporary, but somebody who does it 25 times and it's just being insubordinate, that's a totally different situation. So it depends on the situation and the frequency and the disciplinary action. I mean, record, it could all lend into multiple layers of consequences that a person possibly could receive because of multiple violation to first time offender.
Thank you. I see a lot of questions that are asking for information to be repeated. This stream is going to be on Facebook as well as YouTube, so you will be able to watch it at any time. So if you need to go back and rewatch some parts to get the answers to some of the questions that you have, you are more than welcome to view this again. Trying to find some new questions. It's asking, will there be security at elementary schools? I'm sure.
Right now we don't have that. We did talk about if with the possible passing, if the board elects to go to a Vader, the possible passing. One of the things would be to possibly add, 7 new security guards, security guard at each one of the elementary school, just to be of assistance. But that was something that was discussed. So, of course, that's always a possibility. We want to make sure our people feel safe. But again, we also have to be very mindful of the money that we have and to make sure that we are being stewards of district funds. But again, the police officers do have elementary schools they're assigned to, so they do make visits over there. And if there's any issues, there's not an issue of having someone there in a short period of time.
Thank you to these proactive parents or community members or staff members answering questions. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, and I would just say part of this is all about we're all in this together, working together. So it's not about us against you, you against them. We will all want what's in the best interest of our students, and that's from the board to the superintendent to the executive cabinet to the teachers. We're trying to figure out how we can make our kids better because the high school time, the time in school it goes by so fast. We want to make sure they benefit so they have as many options as they want. But that's what we rely on our parents, our community, as well as our school district personnel to let us know if there's any issue concern so we can be able to address that, because we want to make sure that we're a good reflection of this great community of City Hill. And so we want to make sure we're doing our part in the school district.
I think there was a question about meet the teacher, but I'm slightly confused on the answer. I don't know. I was texted to me and I don't really understand. Let's see. It's 6:48. I don't know if there are some additional questions that people want to ask that are, I guess, not repetitive. There was a question, Mr. Graham. There's such an echo with you, Mr. Graham. But there was a question about Right at School being available for half the day. Is it available?
No, right.
He does not want to answer any questions today.
Oh, he's having some problem.
Yes.
I know it's available before school and it's available after school.
If she wants to, well, whoever asked that question, send us a message directly. We'll be able to get that information. So, Mr. Graham, I don't know if you heard that. It was a question about half day or half.
Yes. If Right at School is available for half the day.
No, it's only morning and after school. Now, during our professional development days, we will have an opportunity for them to have full days right at school. For example, during our Christmas break or Thanksgiving break, we do offer right at school during those times. But other than that, it's only before and after school.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, we've got a lot of questions answered tonight. I know you guys are excited for the school year, and I know you all are probably a little bit anxious about the school year. So again, if you have additional questions that you feel were not answered tonight, you please feel free to email me at faith@chisd.net. I will do my very best to make sure your questions are addressed and answered by the appropriate people. And again, I want to thank you all for taking your time to view this live discussions with Dr. Hudson virtual town hall meeting this evening. We had a record amount of people viewing at one time, hundreds of people at this. This is pretty, we like this because we know that you want to know this information. We know that you are engaged in, what's going on with your district, and we definitely appreciate you. Anybody want to say any final words?
No, again, we definitely appreciate the people who are participating, and then just making sure you get the word out, because again, we're trying to create that partnership and transparency that we're all in this together. So again, the safety of our students is number one, and we want to make sure our kids are safe so that they can learn. And all the things that we do is for our kids and to make sure they are successful with their learning.
And as a reminder, August the 2nd at Highlands, we will have our trustee connections at 6 o'clock. And then again, another discussion with Dr. Hudson at Bray at 6 o'clock p.m. on August the 9th. So you will have opportunities to be in front of our board as well as our superintendent on those 2 nights. All right. So again, we appreciate you, and we hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you. And it's always a great day to be a Longhorn.